HDFNL Footy Show. I tell you what, Dave, I had to whip the jumper off from before, and I'm just promoting a bit of Let's Chat Park and Bendigo Bulldogs and all that. And I know that we've still got the logo up the top over there, wherever it is.
Yeah, that's it, Brian. Good evening to you and good evening to our viewers. Anyone think you've just come out and did a bit of pre-season cricket training for the mighty Bulldogs, Brian?
What is this? What is this thing you say pre-season? And the other thing I heard you say, you just
Yeah, it's good.
swore. You said training.
Yeah,
What's
well,
this training thing?
exactly. Yeah, I know you're probably the only club in Central Victoria that doesn't train as a cricket club, which
We
I
make the finals every
can't
year, so we're
fathom.
going all right. Maybe if we train, we make the grand final.
Well, potentially, who
Mm.
knows? But another cracker weekend of HDNL footy and a bit of an upset in one of the games, Brian.
Oh, look. That is one of the biggest upsets I reckon for years. I know that I think White Hills might have beat North Bendigo a couple of years ago, or even this year. But geez, nothing like that. I mean, where did that come from? That was, we've done Huntley, and you have too. For a few weeks, they've had a pretty good coverage. But I don't know if you saw it. You did the game a couple of weeks ago. Did you see that come out of the blue? Or
Yeah, I didn't see that coming, but I did watch a bit of the footage of the weekend's match. And look, I think what we found across all games is that the weather played a part, particularly for the ground conditions.
yeah,
And I think what that has done is brought Huntley right back into the game. It looked very boggy out at Strush Reserve. Mount Pleasant kicking 3 goals to 13 probably didn't help their own cause, but take nothing away from Huntley, 10, 13, 73, 42 points. And I'll say it again, 42 points the better of the reigning premiers and the league leaders, 3, 13, 31. And look, I think what it does, it gives the Huntley boys a bit of hope that they can still make the finals.
one of the things that this is like what do they call it? The elephant in the room or in the corner.
Yeah, elephant in the room.
I'm about to say it because I know you've got the stats in there. Could you tell me how many goals that Sam Dunstan kicked for Huntley?
He kicked 0.
Correct. There's a message in that. I watched the
There is.
game on the weekend because we replay it. Nice work by Judy Wheelhouse. Good work, mate. Recording the game. Sam Dunstan is a very, very good player, an extremely good player. But he needs to learn from the weekend. It's not always about him. He needs to palm it off. He's probably, how will they kick 10 goals, did you say?
They kicked 10. Yep.
Okay, he would have been relevant in 6 of those. Him,
Oh,
Sam Dunstan. So
yeah,
that's the
sure he
role he's
was.
got to play. His brother smashes it in the middle, and he's
Yep.
got some great kids around him. I think Abe Sladden kicked a couple, didn't he?
Yeah, just more than a couple. He actually kicked 5, so he kicked half the goals for the side.
Yeah, and I know Sam wouldn't like me saying that. At the end of the day, that's what I do, offer opinions, and you either like it or you don't. But that to me will be the reason that Huntley keeps going forward because it's nice for him to kick goals, and I think the club enjoys it, and everyone does. But the real key is that the bloke's mobile. He's so mobile. He can run, he can dodge, great hands. I just think he's got to keep doing what he's doing because those kids, I think, get frustrated with the fact that he wants to mark and have a shot at goal all the time, and I get that. But mate, if he brings the kids into the play like he has, I saw Flynn Campbell running on the ground over the, like he was running
Yep.
everywhere. I just saw a different Huntley in that replay, and I don't know, Dave, just me. I watch every game fairly
No, it's
closely
fair
because I
call. Look,
record them in.
yeah, that's right. And look, Sam did kick 8 goals the game before out of a total, I think, of 11. So there was only 3 other goal kickers. But look, my point is this: if you've got a key forward with good arms, good jukes, and he can kick the distance, why not give it to him? But I get where you're coming from. They can be a bit one-dimensional, and that's where you need to look at options B, C, D, and E because comes finals, there'll be plenty of focus if Huntley were to make it to be double man in Sammy Dunstan, such as talent
Yeah,
player he is.
we'll talk about their game
Oh,
coming
no,
up. Sorry,
yeah, exactly.
he has to realise that as much as those blokes around him would be a bit annoyed, he gets goals, whatever. They actually really look up to him. And
Oh
you know,
yeah.
I know he's a polarizing character. He's a bit like me. You know, either like what I say, you don't. You like the way he plays, you don't. One or the other. But one thing he does do is he performs. I haven't seen him have a bad game.
Nah, never have I. All the times I've seen him, he actually performs it. Interesting for Mount Pleasant, their Rolls Royce in Benny Waitman goalless. Again, not sure whether it's conditions. Only single goal kickers was Callan Smith, Glenn Wiley, and Joel Wharton, who featured.
They're
Those
allowed to
two
have a
featured.
bad game, though, Dave.
Oh, you
Yeah.
are. And look, like I said, I think we saw across all the grounds in Central Victoria on the weekend is the rain that came on Thursday night played into some teams' hands, and probably for Huntley, it played into their hands, and Mouse probably just didn't adapt to the conditions quite well.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're going to lose, why not lose around this time? And I know they've had a couple of draws, but why not? They're going to that's going to really wake them up. It mightn't have been the best thing for the competition that Mount Pleasant just lost by a lot.
Nah, that's right. And I think Joshy Hahn would be expecting more from the boys going into the as they make their charge to the finals. But it just shows that they are human and they're not infallible, and they can be beaten on the day.
Where I was up at Lockington, they White Hills and Elmore are a similar. They're in a similar spot. They play one bad quarter, or the players who are playing at the moment, and they're mostly kids, and the same, Elmore got some good kids too. They stop, right? So they'll put in one good effort, and I reckon this is where I was very close to Brad McConnell on the weekend, where we were, thanks for the scaffolding to the boys at Lockie, and I could hear while I'm commentating, I could see the frustration. Why did he do that? And they're not far away, but it's just little mistakes they make, which are in this grade that we're playing. The turnovers are killers.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, just looking at their quarter by quarter, they kicked one goal, three in the third, and one straight in the first quarter. So effectively for half a game, they've only kicked two goals, three, which is not enough. And then, to Lockington's credit, they've kicked 4-2 in the third and 2-4 in the sixth. So, basically you're five goals down, in a half footy, and looking at the margin, they lost by 33 points. And what you just said there, it's that I guess mental lapse during those quarters that just make you pay. And we've seen this so far in this season, Coggo.
Well, I
That
think the other
team, man.
thing you notice, Dave, is, and I noticed this a bit, when teams like White Hills and probably Lockie to a certain extent on the weekend, when they lose a bit of confidence, all of a sudden, right, they don't change direction. They don't say, right, well, they play that right hand side wing all the time. Why not switch? They don't switch because the confidence is down. The best team that does it is a team flying at the moment, North Bendigo. Colbo are good at it as well, but North Bendigo are the best switchers. They'll just switch. Sure, they got
Yeah,
some blokes in there and kick the ball big like Ford and Aaron Craig and these guys, but they're
yeah,
not scared to switch. And I just reckon other clubs at the moment are not doing that, and you get caught in that one side.
yeah, that's right. And look, looking at the goal kickers, you had Nicholas Sheldon kicking two, Holthausen kicking two, and Campbell Keel kicking three. They're not regular goal kickers for Lockington. Whereas if you look at White Hills, Jakey Thompson kicked two, and I think Cohen Kekic kicked two. So the other major goal kickers there. Look, and I've said it all along, and our good friend Mr. O'Brien, he'll be bagging me out once again.
It's only what you
Brad
deserve, mate.
knows. Well, Brad knows where he's at, but you're right. As a coach, it does get a bit frustrating, particularly when they're young adolescent men that have played enough footy to experience it. And I saw it last week against Huntley. One quarter basically cost what he was there, so it's pretty much eat, sleep, repeat for them at the moment, Cogs.
Yep. I'm only saying what I'm seeing on all the tapes that I watch. I've watched more footy this year, HDFNL, than I think I ever have because we put every game into the system, as you know, and I think that's it's probably not many leagues do that. We do it. And plus the fact that we have two commentators. There's not many leagues that do that either. So thank you to you because it sounded great, and there's nothing better than watching a game with a bit of commentary, particularly, people that know what they're, as in the comp. So it's good.
Yeah, no, I'm getting that good feedback. Speaking to
Yeah.
Heathcote boys on the weekend, they're a bit surprised to see me down there, but again, appreciative that they are getting some quality commentary as well. So good initiative
Mm.
to you.
When's
Speaking
that?
of Heathcote, I was
When's that
What's that, sorry?
quality? When's that quality commentary start? I'm joking, mate. I'm joking.
Nah. Well, you would have heard a bit last weekend
I
because
did, mate.
as I said, I was down at Pigeon Park and it was a good win by the Heathcote side, 10-13-73.
Mm,
Uh, in a tight contest against Litchfield Gumbau,
not
9.
much in it, is it?
No, there wasn't, and it was pretty much the tone all the day. It was just a couple of goals either way. And look, you would have seen on the footage, Barrack Reserve was chopped up pretty bad in the end. The middle was a bit of a quagmire, and it was
Yeah.
just old-fashioned, rugged football all day. Good battle in the middle. Jordan Marcroft up against Darcy Elliott. That was a good duel. That man, Stefan Razanak, it just does it again. He's got his own little cheer squad down there. Also, the Ryan Foster, where we were commentating from, he had his own little cheer squad. But Justin Bates and Dylan Johnson only kicking 2 goals. Jakey Waters popped up for 2 for the Heathcote. And for Leachfield Gumbau, Jack Dye played pretty much a lone hand up for 3 goals. Singles to Cataban, McGregor, and Billy Hawkins. Look, not Lockie. The Leachfield had their chances at times to really push the game. They came out in the second quarter kicking 3 goals. The Heathcote's only 1, but Heathcote responded in the third, kicking 5 goals to 1. And neither side kicked a goal in the last quarter, both kicking 3 points. So in the end, it was pretty much, Heathcote by 13 points, which they had a bounce back to 5. I think they're sitting even 4. As a result of that, they've dislodged Litchfield Gumbau. So he could sit in 5th. Litchfield Gumbau sitting in 6th, with Huntley 2 games away in 7th on 12 points. So the race is on, Cogs.
Yeah, look, it is. And again, I mean, that's the best part about it. There's not much in it. And it seems like White Hills and Elmore can certainly, whilst they probably can't make the finals, they could at least shape it. And I think that's a real bonus. This would be easiest, the most even comp I've been part of for the HDFNL, and just crossing over to Loddon Valley Footy League. I think they had their closest round for 40 years, where teams
Yeah,
didn't
right.
lose by much. Yeah, so that was good. I think all round that was great. A little bit different to BFNL, but we'll leave that there. Uh, okay, the other thing is there any other games left? Have we missed anyone?
Yeah, North Bendigo, Cobbanavan.
Oh, sorry. Yes, yes.
Yeah, so a good strong win to North Bendigo over at Cobbanavan, 15-7-97, beating Cobbanavan 10-6. This game, 4 goals and better, half time, and that basically continued on. Cobbanavan bounced back in the third quarter, kicking 5 goals too, but then North Bendigo, as they've done over the last few games, they kicked 6 goals too in the last term to really pile it on to run away winners by 31 points.
Have you
Uh,
have you still got the receipt for that headset?
yes, I do. Why you reckon
Yeah,
it's
just whip it back to Kmart. They have about a 24-month thing. As soon as you turn your head, we lose you a little bit, mate, but that's okay.
okay? I'll try and keep it still. So yeah, look at the goal kickers. Cody Riddick kicking 2, Riley Pato kicking 2, and Geordie Ford and Jakey Dean kicking 3 each for North. Alex Carr pretty much followed up from last week's good performance, kicking 4 goals and 3 goals by a private play, which I'm not sure who that was for Cobbanavan. But yeah, look, North Bendigo, I think you've said it, probably been the form side over the last 5 or 6 weeks, and they're really putting their stamp on things and gearing up for another finals campaign this year, Cogs.
Yeah, as I said, it's going to be interesting. What topics have got you this week, mate? Is there anything out there that you might want to
Yeah,
discuss?
yeah, I do. I just saw a post late this afternoon. The Bendigo Football League are trialing a week 1 of their final series.
Yep.
They're opening it up to clubs to submit or basically tender for the rights to host the finals in week 1, which I think is a bit interesting given that traditionally all the finals are played at QEO. What's your thoughts there?
Well, it's not the worst idea because I think if you finish higher, it's like cricket. You get to choose where you play. Normally, play at home. Sometimes that's not an advantage on carpet cricket, but when it comes to footy, I think there is a fairly big advantage with a home crowd. Um, I think
Yeah, but this is not about home side. This is opening it up to 10 clubs that
as
nominate
a
to host
as a tender.
as a tender to host, yeah, week 1 of the final, the Saturday and Sunday.
Okay.
So,
Oh, I
for an
don't mind
example,
it.
Kangaroo Flat could host the rights, the Saturday of week one.
I think if you're going to do that, that's okay. But you need to do what I think. Well, the other two comps do, HDFNL, Loddon Valley, is you take it in turns. I'm not sure about
Yeah, rotate
Kangaroo for it. I think you Kangaroo Flat and say, Eagle Hawk have
Castlemaine.
the semis or
Yeah.
Castlemaine, whatever. And next year it goes to the others. That's the fairest way to do it.
Well, the problem is they're only doing it for week one, so then weeks 2, 3, and grand final revert back to QEO.
Well, they should be using the QEO. No one else does,
Well,
except the
that's it.
Pios.
So why change it for week one? Interesting.
Try something different. Yeah, I think it works for HDFNL and certainly for Loddon Valley. The only thing I disagree with the Loddon Valley, now you're onto this, is I spoke to Richard Hicks the other day out at the Interleague, which you failed to turn
Yeah,
up
good
to,
win by.
but it they still go with the club that's that plays that doesn't play in the granny. So it means that if you're a powerhouse like Morong or probably Bridgewater and to a certain extent, McCorner this year, and who's the other team that are up there at the moment? Who am I thinking of?
Pyramid Hill.
Pyramid Hill. Sorry, Pyramid Hill. I should know. I got the Bulldogs on.
I was going to say you weren't
That
regardless.
that means that those clubs, well, probably not McCorner, but those three clubs I mentioned, are probably never going to have a granny at their ground because the Morong are always going to be perennial up around there, and so are Bridgewater. So that's what that means, and I'm not sure that's fair. I think I like the Huntley thing, but Huntley are yet to play in a grand final. Oh, they did years ago. They
No,
did.
that's right.
So I
Well,
don't. I like the Huntley thing.
yeah, and I think everyone knows that start of year is grand finals of Huntley. Look, the Heathcote League used to play Cobbett in grand finals at
Yeah, they
Cobbett
did.
when Cobbett
Yep.
and yeah, when
Yep.
Cobbett were playing it. It's just one of those things, luck of the draw. If
And
you're
I
good enough
think
to get there on the day.
Loddon Valley used to play a lot at YCW and Bacchus Oval a bit too.
Yeah, right.
So yeah.
Um,
Look,
and the other thing I was going to ask you, obviously good feedback from the Newbridge versus Bridgewater game with both Gary Ablett Jr. and Nick Dalcedo playing in. I'm not sure if you've heard the vibe, but from what I've seen on the socials and that, it seemed like a well attended game, and the little master kicking one from about 65 out just shows you still got it, Cogs.
still got it all right, but the game for Newbridge is amazing. It'd be like a semi-final, probably not a grand final. I think. Look, well done to Newbridge because they're the ones that put in for it, and obviously, the good thing for Bridgewater is they got to play with Nick Dalsado, and yeah, it just goes to show Newbridge probably not too far away. They just need another star or two players.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not that
Although
far
they
away.
lost,
Yeah.
they're not. They lost that game. Bridgewater actually won it.
Yeah, I know that, but what I'm saying is that Newbridge probably would have lost by 6, 7 goals without Gary Ablett Jr.
Yeah, true.
So, they know where they're at the moment. Newbridge's ground is one of the best, though. Riverside Park is one of the best
Yeah,
around, regardless of, I could say that we've got some great grounds in the Heathcote League, but that is easily one of the best regional grounds around. I don't know anything. Probably car parking's about the only thing, and I don't know too many other grounds that have it. Heathcote struggles a bit. Huntley struggle a bit, but I don't think there's anywhere that's got good car parking. Even the QEOs have struggled.
yeah, and that's surprising they still let cars in there, which baffles me.
Yeah,
But anyway,
yeah. It's country footy, mate. Regional footy. Um,
wow.
yeah, I don't mind it. I just think that I'd still like to see more clubs playing on the QEO, and we don't. And this is what I'm going to bring up with you: is that I had this debate, not debate, but certainly talked about on radio. Is that so? Sandhurst play there. I get that. The Pios play there. I think the Pio girls play there as well sometimes, but. A bit like the Tom Flood Sports Centre, no one plays there. Athletics, and it's this pristine thing that could be used for gridiron. I know what they're trying to do, push everyone out to AFL2 at bloody Epsom. I get all that. I understand it. But I just think if you've got Ballarat have the reverse effect. They are spending money on Mars Stadium at the moment so they can play AFL there, which in order puts Ballarat on the map.
Yeah, and look, I
We're
I
miles
remember
away
back
from
in
any
my
of that.
Ben. Yeah, exactly. I remember back in my Bendigo Gold days as a director, people used to come to me and say, "Why does Ballarat have a successful VFL side and Bendigo don't?" And this is no disrespect to the Gold of the day, but one of the arguments was, well, we used to pay $6,000 a year for rental at the QEO. City of Ballarat would give the Ballarat Roosters or North Ballarat Roosters, $60,000 to play in Ballarat. That was
Yeah, oh, I think there was other issues too, mate. With this with the gold is that you weren't actually a club to start with, whereas
nah,
North Ballarat were. They
yeah,
had a
exactly.
club base. South Bendigo or something like that would have been perfect for the Bendigo Gold as a club, and then you'd have that
Yeah,
junior support, etc. Netball, the whole lot.
wow, council never embraced it. That's my point. Whereas City of
I'm
Ballarat
not sure the
has.
players did either, Dave. I'm not sure. There's a few players that did.
A lot of players were dedicated. We had
Yeah,
guys
they
from
were,
there.
but I mean, in the end, it was a bit like the Bendigo Thunder. I mean, they all went to the local clubs because guess what? You didn't have to travel to Melbourne every second week. So,
Nah, well,
you
that's
know,
right.
But anyway, it is what it
Anyway,
is. It's yeah,
it
well and
is what
truly
it is.
buried.
But I do recall the old Lightning Premierships at Tom Flood during the summer months, like pre-season comp. And that used to be a really good thing. You get, the teams from the Heathcote League up against the Bendigo Leagues and also Lon Valley League. So I
It's not big
think
enough
that's the
though,
way.
is it?
Oh no, it is. Yeah, it's a full size ground.
Is it?
Yeah. They played full senior football on it. I'm talking probably mid to late '90s. That competition was done.
They used to play at
Good
the
actually.
showgrounds too.
They did. They did. Heathcote actually won the Lightning Premiership.
Did they? Yeah.
We spent the money on the way home.
As you would have. Well, quite clearly, you didn't spend money
Yes,
on that headset you've got because it's shit. The let's move that mic a bit closer to your mouth, mate. I've done that
I'll
before.
try.
Yeah, that's it. I, yeah, all right. We'll get into the games. We could go on forever about it, but yeah, I don't think the City of Greater Bendigo, whilst they made the QA look, the toilets are great and down that end look fantastic. They've spent a bit of money there. Nice big statue, women's cricket. I love that too. I just think that we spent a lot of money on the arts, which the down
Yeah,
the road of the
yeah,
gallery is just getting, it's going to look amazing. And if they think that's the way to bring people in and they're in charge, then so be it. There's nothing anyone can say. It just means that Ballarat doesn't have
yeah.
that
Well,
art culture that Bendigo does.
nah, that's right. And look, I probably share a similar view to you. I think there's lack of money, infrastructure, and sporting facilities and around the clubs. And yeah, whilst a pristine ground, we don't have the infrastructure that would give it into the modern day facilities.
Yeah, I think if you talk to anyone from the city of Greater Bendigo about grounds, you get closed down pretty quick because of the fact that,
Yeah,
we're so lucky that a Maris Brothers have come along or a Catholic college because they've created, even though there was a few grounds out there anyway, but they've created pretty good grounds.
they
Probably
have.
what all up, probably five or six, probably seven even that have weren't there before. So yeah, I think the city of Greater Bendigo are like they're loving that, but they trust me to hire, they're not cheap. And I know.
Nah, and I'm looking forward to the day we see the Juniton Jaguars compete in the HDFL or the Bendigo Footy League, Brian.
Mm. Yeah, right. Well, they might go better than Broadford. Anyway, let's talk about this week's games, Dave, because there's a little bit on the go.
Yeah, yeah, round 12. So we're two-thirds of the way through the season, and we've got a couple of cracker games this weekend, starting up at Mount Pleasant, taking on Lockington at Tulane there, Cogs.
Yeah, look, what I saw from Lockie last week, I suppose the worst time you can play Mount Pleasant is when they've had a shocker like they did last week, 13
Yeah,
points.
exactly.
But oh, Lockie are not bad. They've got some really good kids, and a lot of them on display on Sunday in the Interleague. The Keel brothers and a few of them from Lockie,
Yeah.
young Walsh, William Walsh as well. These are kids that are, mate, they're not even 18 yet, and they are doing very well in senior footy. So yeah, I think good for the future. It's just a tough gig at the moment because a lot of the blokes that at Lockie are not getting any younger.
Nah, that's it. And I think you hit the nail on the head. Beware of a team that's just come off a shock defeat. I'm
Mm.
sure Coach Josh Hahn
Yeah,
has got the Chargers fired up for this weekend's game. And although in saying that, they've had two draws at their home ground this year against Heathcote and North Bendigo at Marnon State Oval. So, look, I'll still tip Mounts, but yeah, I think what it proves is they can be beaten on the day. But I think, yeah, Mounts will bounce back on this one.
yeah, no, I tend to agree. I think Lockie got away with it last week. Wins a win. That the ground one out wasn't pretty, but at the same time, unless we're getting some rain this week, which I'll check the weather right about now, but I don't think we're going to get a lot.
Nah, I don't think there's any forecast.
Yeah,
Over at North Bendigo, they take on Elmore. I think tough gig for Elmore at Atkins Street and smaller ground. We did call this game in the early part of the season up at Elmore, and Elmore did run with him for about 2.5 quarters before
Yeah.
North broke away. I think it's a different North Bendigo now. They don't like losing at home, and I think Coach Robbie Bennett's got the boys fired up, which has been evident over the last 5 to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be another tough task for Coach Luke Freeman there, Cogs.
Yeah, look, it is. And again, if they're the bottom side at the moment, which I think they are, um, they're pretty good for the bottom side. So, they're not a side. I don't think anyone's been beaten by 100 this year, have they? I could be wrong.
No,
But
I don't think about 70 points is the
yeah,
greatest margin.
they'll have a crack. And look, their ground is similar to North Bendigo. So Elmore, it's not huge. So they might be
Yeah,
all right, but yeah, tough gig out there. North Bendigo are playing with more aggression, and they've stopped all that rot they put on the start of the season, and they got their act together.
yeah, exactly. Over at nearby Scott Street, we've got White Hills up against Colburn Abbon. You saw White Hills last week. Colburn Abbon obviously got done to North Bendigo at home. They'll be looking to rebound back. What do you make of this game, Cogs?
Again, as I said with White Hills, they've got some good kids, real good kids that are, obviously they have the Conlon brothers and other kids out there that are having a crack. Young Schofield went well on the weekend. There was quite a few, Kecker's down the forward line, get it to him, etc. Big Jack, Lord in the ruck does well.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I reckon on their day they're going to take a big scalp, White Hills. I'm not sure it'll be this week, but I know that they'll at some stage we'll be looking at it and going, well, geez, White Hills, how did they beat them? But I think they've got the potential to do that, but not this week.
Yeah. And Colbo just flying under the radar. That's why probably Coach Linton Jacobs wants it.
I'm not sure he wants that. I think what he wants now is a North Bendigo response, like, righto, let's get the whips out and start cracking now, because
Yeah.
knowing Jaco like I do, because I had to kick him out of the nightclub for years, he would be annoyed. Last week they were only a point down at three-quarter time.
Yeah, right.
To lose by 5 goals is no fun, and it's particularly a home match.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So yeah,
Nah, Colbo for me on that one. And I think this is the match of the round. Heathcote up against Huntley down at Pigeon Park. So spoke to a few of the Heathcote boys last night because they were doing their recovery here in Bendigo because I think they couldn't train out reserve such as the condition of the ground. So
yeah,
Jarksy and Jordan Markroff and Cody Price and Justin Bates were a few of the boys doing their recovery at Gary Wanyara. And I know Big Geordie Markroff pulled up a bit sore in his ruck duel against Darcy Elliott, but I think after having that win against Colburn Abbon, Heathcote haven't put a foot wrong and can see a
yeah.
good battle with this one, given that Huntley's now knocked off Subby coming out full of promise.
I'll tell you the gut feeling is that they are with vision readily available this year, unlike last year or the year before. Even that we didn't have that. You could, I reckon the coaches are studying. I know they do Premier Data a few
Yeah,
of them, but I think they're studying the tape a lot more.
yeah,
So
right.
when they go out to play, they know, what the other team does, etc. Is that a good thing? I don't know. It's what they do in the AFL, don't they? So, in other
Well,
comps
that's right.
too. I just reckon they know a lot more about the comp's got more professional in that way. They, when they go out, they know this bloke does that, or he kicks on this side of his body, etc. That stuff's now
Yeah,
readily available.
yeah. The oppo analysis, as they call it in the industry. Look, it'll be a battle of the forwards. I think you got Sam Dunstan down one end, and you got Dylan Johnson up the other end, and
Yeah,
Razanak. For me, he has to be in the top two vote getters for the BNF. Saw him play on the weekend. Took an absolute hanger over Huey Freckleton, and yeah, the boys are just finding the way to keep winning down at Heathcote, which is keeping their final chances alive. I think it's going to be closer than what most people think, particularly with the conditions, the way the grounds are. But I still think it'll be the home side. They'll come out top over the Hawks there, Cogs.
yeah. Oh, look, I think they're ones that have got the whips cracking. Heathcote, they are making every post a winner. They're celebrating. They're not winning by much, but you know what? It doesn't matter. They're doing what they have to do to win. I still think that this is just a horrible thing to say, and Andrew's not going to like it, but I still think they're one good midfielder away from being a really good side.
Yep.
Jarksy goes in way too hard, so he's going to be there one week and not the next. So and when he's out of there, and maybe one or two others, the guy Razanek, I think he'll win the medal. There you go.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
he's a gun. Yeah, but he's good for me, mate. But don't be surprised if Huntley win.
Yeah, nah, and I think you'll be heading down to do the call of that game.
Yeah, we'll work all that out, Dave. That's what we do as a team at Super TV,
Yeah,
and we're a team, and we do it my way. So,
that's it. Yes, Rich. Yes, Richie.
um, give us a joke to wrap us up, Dave, on the Footy Show, HDFNL.
Yeah, Cogs. Well, I've got a mate of mine, and let's just call him Ash. He's become a new CEO lately of a fairly well-known real estate business around town. Anyway,
Wouldn't be Ray White, would
as what's
it?
that?
Wouldn't be Ray White, would it? Anyway,
Uh, Initials could be Ray White.
right.
Anyway, as the new boss there, he was determined to get rid of all the company slackers. On the two of the facilities, he noticed a guy leaning against the wall and idly picking his teeth. The room was full of the real estate agents and stuff like that. And he wanted to let him know that he meant business as the CEO. He asked the guy leaning against the wall, "How much do you make a week?" A little surprised, the young man looked at him and said, "I make $400 a week. Why?" Anyway, Ash said, "Wait right here." Ash goes out, walks back to his office, comes back in 2 minutes, and he handed the guy $1,600 in cash and said, "Here's 4 weeks' pay. Now get out and don't come back." Feeling pretty good
Wow.
about himself, Ash looked around in the room and he asked, "Does anyone want to tell me what that goofball did here?" One of the real estate agents turned around to Ash and said, "Sure, he was the pizza delivery guy from Domino. And he was just waiting to collect his money."
That's not bad at all. That's actually pretty good for you, mate. Now, I'm not going to say who sent this in. This joke's about you and I, right? So, it could have been the initials Damien O'Brien. But anyway, there you go. So, anyway, Dave's walking along. He's at Heathcote, actually. And
Okay.
walking along, and he saw this sign, and it said, "Talking dog for sale, $50." And Dave went,
Yep.
shit, this can't be for real. I'm going to go. And so he went in, and it was Brendan Baker's house, actually, at Heathcote. And
Bakes,
Brendan
yeah, Grant's
points to the
house.
backyard and he says, there's a Labrador out there, and you know, he can, and you say to Bakes, "Oh, can he really talk?" And Bakes is like, "Of course he can, mate. No problem." So anyway, he gets out there and he says to the dog, "How you going, dog?" Dog says, "Yep." Anyway, you nearly fall over, Dave. You're like, "Whoa, hey, you
All
got
right. Yeah.
yeah." So and he says, Dave says to the dog, "Well, mate, what's going on? You can talk. What's this, what's your story?" And the dog says, "Well, hang on. Oof. I discovered I could talk when I was a puppy. I worked for the government as a spy. No one suspects a dog, Dave. Traveled the world,
Right.
overheard secrets, saved countless lives. And then I retired. I settled down, got married, had a few puppies, and now I'm enjoying retirement with my mate Bakes." Anyway, Dave rushes back inside and he goes, "Bakes, Bakes, why on earth are you selling that talking dog for $50?" Bakes just rolls his eyes and he said, "Because he's a liar. He never did any of that." That was pretty good. We better go on that one, Dave.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Have a good week.
You too.